Okay, now we are going to talk about prospecting with the database. We already have a little bit. We're going to do a little more. And then we're going to talk even more about building customer loyalty with the database. Okay, so as we've said, you do your analysis in the database and you find your MVCs. You find out everything you can about them from your own information, from external databases like Axiom, and you target them for your new business prospecting. Wow, look at that. So these are some of the variables that you might look up. Now, once I usually do this in my live classes for this. Maybe we will when we get together again. But basically, what we're talking about here is something called a multivariate analysis. And the way a multivariate analysis works, boy, you guys are getting a lot of fancy phrases thrown at you. You've got compound interest formulas and multivariate analysis. But you know what? It's pretty simple. Let's just go back here. Okay. So they're dependent and independent variables. The dependent variable doesn't change unless some of the independent variables change. Independent variables are things like rural or urban, educated or not so much, ethnicity, income, sex, age, interested in health. Then what we're trying to do is, if we discover all this information about our most valuable customers, which piece of information, which characteristic contributes the most to them buying from us? Out of all 20 variables, 20 independent variables, age, sex, interested in fitness, etc., which one contributes to them buying athletic shoes a lot? And to find that out, we run the multivariate analysis, and we find out from that analysis which one of the variables is most important, because it may be hard to, target using 20 variables. So you want to pick the one or two that are the most important. I just want to see this thing again. It's so cool. And this means that when you're fishing, you're going to get the big fish. Okay. And now, so you look in your own database, but there's another way to use databases for prospecting. You can email somebody else's database, somebody else's customer list. They're not going to give you the whole database, but magazines sell their subscriber lists. Lots of companies sell lists, and there are list brokers that sell everybody's lists. And what you do is, if you, for instance, find out that your most valuable customer likes to ski, you're going to rent a skiing magazine or a skiing website's customer list with emails. Okay, you're not going to buy the whole thing right out. They're going to let you use it without copying the data. You're going to purge it with your own database, meaning anybody you already have as a customer, you don't need to pay to email, right? So you pull out the duplicate records with the merge-purge process, and then you test. You take, cell of 5,000 or so, and you try sending them a prospecting email for skiers, and you see what kind of response you get. And then based on that, you'll know whether it's worth buying the list and getting a certain number of usages on the list. Usually aren't just going to email it once. You're going to stay after it a little while and try some things. And you see how it works. You test it, right? Because we test in direct. And we measure. Everything's measurable. Okay. Now, we also have to be careful with the Can-Spam Act with emailing. We have to ask permission and give people opt-outs and everything else. These are some ways to get email addresses other than renting lists, emails from people that aren't in your database. By the way, if you're familiar with the Publishers Clearinghouse TV ads, you know, the ones where people get the big checks and win $5,000 a week for life and all that. They get the huge big check at the doorway and they're jumping up and down. Well, Publishers Clearinghouse, the only reason they run those sweepstakes is for people to enter and give their email addresses. That's how they replenish their database. And then they send offers to people in the database by email, and they see what they like, and they get them to buy things, pots and pans and all kinds of things. In fact, you'll be watching a videotape lecture from Jason John, who's the Chief Marketing Officer for Publishers Clearinghouse, and he'll tell you all about that. But so there are lots of ways. At retail, you can ask customers to fill in their email address and reward employees for getting emails. People order over the phone, you can ask for an email. So there are lots of other ways to get emails. That's the valuable thing to get, of course. These are some of the types of lists that can be rented. Okay, you've got attendees at events, you've got book and CD clubs, business magazines, consumer magazines, donors to charities, people who subscribe to newsletters, all kinds of things. And then if I open up this is a list broker website we're going to, All Media Inc., targeted media for measurable results. And here's magazine subscriber mailing lists. And they have a lot of them. Okay, and so you can look for affluent magazine mailing lists. You've got a target. Here are some of the magazine lists you can get. Blood Horse Magazine, Blue Water Sailing, Hemming, Sports and Exotic. Okay, so you can see Vanity Fair, The Economist. You can rent all those subscriber lists if you want. And this will help you, of course, prospect. Okay, so now I guess I'm going to lose my page again, as usual. Yep, of course. I have to go back to my PowerPoint. And there it is. Okay. So, just parenthetically on the purchase funnel, advertising in media is all about prospects. You don't need to buy media to reach your current customer. You have their email address, right? So the other way to get prospects is to advertise, like on the Super Bowl, and etc. So how do we use database marketing for prospecting? Well, we find our MVCs, the profile in our own database, and then we look for more MVCs and buy media that will reach them. We can rent other people's lists and databases, and we can also acquire emails and information just through other touch points with the customer. So that's prospecting with databases. Building loyalty with databases is what we shall now discuss. And the purpose of database marketing is to create and maintain a bond of loyalty between you and your customer that will last a lifetime. Okay. So we've talked about MVCs. We've talked about loyalty and CRM, customer relationship management. So basically on the purchase funnel for loyalty building, we want to move people from purchase down to loyalty and advocacy. What does it take to do that? Well, you better have a good product or service. You better deliver. And you better service the business and answer questions and problems right away. In fact, I play a videotape in my database course. The number one car salesman, I think, in history, his name is Joe Girard, was in Michigan. And he sold more than most dealerships himself. And one of the most important things he did was after anyone bought a car from him, he called them the next day and said, how's it going? If they had a complaint or a problem, you bring it right back here. Bring it right back here, we'll take care of it. And he took care of the people in the repair shop and the maintenance shop, and his customers got the gold silk glove, gold, whatever it is, treatment. And even if they didn't have a problem, they appreciated the phone call. Excellent service and support. Friendly, loyal staff. Now, by the way, this is something that is sometimes a little difficult to achieve, depending on how you treat and motivate your workers and basically what you think about them and how important they are. So we talked about cross-selling in Wells Fargo and how the employees, who are in a way the most important employees at the bank, the ones who are the smiling face at the bank, with the tellers and everything, if they are bullied to meet unrealistic goals, you don't have a friendly, loyal staff, do you? No. So it's an issue. Excellent, personalized, relevant, rapid communications, and this is the transactional emails. After you buy something, you get a thank you. Things are snap, 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 and it's always addressed to the person, not to whoever. All right, so there's some more information. So we've talked about MVCs. Okay, and that's why a lot of people's goal is to get a buyer to buy again. Think about what Amazon does. But what you're trying to do is build trust. So you might even send people who just bought from you a survey, a quick survey. How do you want to be contacted? What are you interested in? What do I need to know about you? Okay. And then what happens, and again, I'm going to refer to Amazon, but it could be Sephora or other good CRM companies. You automate transactional messages that are personalized, that address whatever has just happened or the customer's just done. And so you stay in touch, you service it, you acknowledge if they send you something, and you thank them for the business. Okay, so return policy. Actually, L.L. Bean is, raise your hand if you've heard of L.L. Bean. Okay, they actually invented the Maine hunting shoe, which is this little jobby right here. You see a lot of them around. Millions of people make them now. They've been making them for, 100 years. Now, at one point, some of you may be aware of this. Usually you have one or two students in each class raise their hand. L.L. Bean gave lifetime guarantees for all their products. Right. So if you bought a pair of these boots 40 years ago, you may have sent them back to have new rubber soles because the rubber soles wear out, folks. They may replace the rubber soles for free 2 or 3 times. Okay. If you want to be the kind of person that sends something back, even though you're the one who wore it out, it wasn't the product's fault. But that guarantee had a great effect on L.L. Bean's business because everybody talked about it. They couldn't believe it. So, and the number of people who did take advantage in a way didn't cost so much that the word of mouth was better than gave them more advantage than the cost of making these repairs. But recently they changed the policy, and now you have a year to purchase or to get a refund. Only items that are defective due to materials or craftsmanship. So if it's natural wear or you broke it or something like that, they're not going to replace it. So they've changed it. They've changed it. They've changed it. Okay? They want to be reasonably fair, so they're still trying, but they did change the policy. Okay, now we're going to look at, in terms of policies and things, in customer service, we're going to look at Chipotle. I like Chipotle. I don't know about you guys. And I always get the same thing, pretty much. Of course, we have one right across 7th Avenue from us, don't we? Look at all the smiles on these guys' faces. Look at that. They treat their employees amazing amazing